Are you thinking about moving to Spain? Then the first step is not buying a plane ticket. It is not looking for an apartment. And it is also not starting to prepare documents without knowing exactly what you need them for. Understanding which residency permit you can apply for according to your case. Many people come to Spain with excitement, with plans, but without a clear immigration strategy. Before we start, this video is part of our series Moving to Spain Without Making Mistakes. From before leaving your country to your first procedures in Spain and the consolidation of your residency. Hello everyone, I'm Paula Lopez, an immigration lawyer at Balcells Group. In this first episode, we are going to talk about which legal route you can use to live in Spain. One of the most common mistakes we see is thinking that moving to Spain starts with the trip. But in reality, moving to Spain starts much earlier, when you analyze your profile and understand which immigration route makes sense for you. Each case can lead to a different permit. You need to choose the permit that truly matches your personal, professional, financial, and family situation. The second key point is understanding that not all residency permits work in the same way. That is why, before coming to Spain, you need to understand which group you fall into. If you're coming to work, the type of permit will depend on your profile, the job position, the salary, the company, and whether or not it is an authorization that can be processed from Spain. If you're coming to work remotely for a foreigner company, or for clients outside Spain, you could analyze whether you qualify for the Digital Nomad permit. But this permit also has specific requirements: income, type of activity, relationship with foreigner clients or companies, professional documentation, and social security. If you're coming to study, you will need to review what type of studies you are going to take, whether they are higher education studies, how long they last, whether you can apply from Spain or from Consulate, and what rights you will have during your stay. If you're coming because you have a partner, child, parent, or Spanish family member, it is very important to check which is the correct route, especially after the recent changes to the immigration regulations. And if you're coming with savings without the intention of working, you may be thinking about the non-lucrative residency permit. But this permit, for example, usually requires previous planning and normally has to be processed from the consulate. Can I enter Spain as a tourist and then apply for residency from Spain? The answer is, it depends. There are certain permits that can be applied from Spain, as long as you meet the requirements and apply within the correct deadline. For example, some permits under the entrepreneur's law allow you to start the process from inside the country. Here we find authorizations such as the highly qualified professional permit, the digital nomad permit, or certain entrepreneur authorizations. There are also family situations in which you can apply for residency from Spain. For example, if you're a family member of a Spanish or EU citizen and you meet the corresponding requirements. In some cases, it is also possible to apply for a state for studies from Spain, but not always. You need to review the type of studies, the deadline, and the specific conditions. This is important because many people believe that just because they are physically in Spain, they will be able to start any procedure, and that is not the case. You can only apply from Spain for those permits whose regulations expressly allow it. That is why, if your plan is to enter as a tourist and then stay, you need to confirm beforehand if the permit allows you to do it this way. If you have made it this far, you're probably thinking about coming to Spain, or you're already trying to understand which permit best fits your case. And that is exactly why in the description of this video, you will find a link to book a consultation with our immigration lawyers. You can also use the code YouTube10 to get a 10% discount on your next consultation. Permits that must be applied for from the consulate. Now there are other permits that must be processed before coming to Spain, from the Spanish consulate in your country of origin or legal residency. A very clear example is the non-lucrative residency permit, created for people who want to live in Spain without working and who can prove that they have sufficient financial means. This permit normally has to be applied for from the consulate. The same happens with many ordinary work visas, especially when we are not talking about highly qualified professionals or specific authorizations under the entrepreneur's law. And the same may happen with certain studies, depending on the type of training and the moment you want to submit the application. This is why it is so important to know from the beginning which route applies to you. They are two completely different strategies, and confusing them can affect the entire process. Why coming as a tourist without a strategy can limit you. Entering Spain as a tourist is not illegal. In fact, many people enter as tourists to visit the country, explore options, or even decide whether they want to stay. When you enter as a tourist, you have a limited period of time, normally 90 days within a 180-day period. If you want to start a procedure within that period, you need to know exactly which one it will be, what documents you need, whether you can apply from Spain, and how long it will take you to prepare everything. Because 90 days in immigration procedures can go by very quickly. So, how can you know which permit you need? The answer depends on several questions. The first one is, what is your goal in Spain? Do you want to work, study, live without working, come with your family, reunite with your Spanish partner or family member, work remotely, or start a business? The second question is, what is your current situation? Your nationality, your country of residency, your family ties, your education, your income, and your documentation. The third question is, from where can you or must you apply for the permit? Because, as we have seen, some permits allow you to apply from Spain, while others require a consular procedure. And the fourth question is, what consequences will the permit have in the future? Some permits allow you to work from the beginning, while others have limitations. Some count towards Spanish nationality, while others don't. Common mistakes before coming to Spain. The first mistake is buying the plane ticket before knowing which permit you are going to apply for. This does not mean that you cannot travel, but the trip should be part of a strategy, not an improvised step. The second mistake is preparing documents without knowing which procedure you need them for. Each permit requires different documents. If you prepare paperwork without being clear about the procedure, you may spend money on documents that are not useful, or leave out documents that were essential. The third mistake is thinking that all permits can be applied for from Spain. As we have seen, this is not true. Some can, others cannot. The fourth mistake is relying on other people's experience without reviewing your own case. Just because a route worked for someone else does not mean it is the right one for you. And the fifth mistake is waiting until you are already in Spain to seek legal advice. Sometimes it is possible to correct the direction, but other times when the person is already in Spain, there are only a few days left, documents are missing, or the permit they want to apply for does not match their situation. That is why the earlier you analyze your case, the more options you will have. Moving to Spain can be a great opportunity, but it also requires planning. At Balseis Group, we can help you analyze your case. You can contact us at info@balseisgroup.com or book a consultation through the link you will find in the description. Now you know where to start, which permit may fit your case, and why you should not come to Spain without a clear immigration strategy. But once you are clear about the legal route, another very common mistake appears: preparing your documents incorrectly. In the next video, we will talk exactly about this, the documents you should prepare before traveling to Spain. So, subscribe to follow the complete series and avoid mistakes before, during, and after your arrival in Spain. See you in the next video!